When asked what comes to mind when the word Native American is used, many Americans will respond with answers ranging from, "I am part Cherokee," to "We had our first Thanksgiving with Native Americans." Sadly, many Americans know little about Native American cultures beyond family trees and required history classes they had to take in high school or college. This could be attributed to the fact that there is a vast difference between our two cultures. Sherman Alexie helps give insight into the mystery surrounding Native American cultures with his poem, The Exaggeration of Despair. The poem is centered on a Native American community, with the majority of sentences beginning with "this Indian," and its common theme, as stated in the title, seems to be despair. Alexie combines different aspects, with alcoholism and homelessness among the many, under this common theme. By the end of the poem, it becomes clear that a loss of culture seems to be affecting this community the most, and the white presence in America seems to be directly linked to this loss. Alexie seems to exaggerate the extent to which the Native American community is affected by this loss of culture, but does so to make a point. He presents a domino-like effect of tragedy preceding tragedy, showing that the different conditions that many Indians are in are intricately linked to white settlement in the Americas. The basis for this domino-like effect of tragedy seems to be the first line, "I open the door." This line is used 3 times throughout the poem and placed in certain areas to deliberately emphasize what comes next. Of the 3 times used, 2 of them have parentheses following. These parentheses represent the vital part of the poem that looks deeper into the Native American community every time "I open the door" is used, as well as suggesting that the speaker is speaking from memory. The first instance takes us deeper into the community and describes numerous tragic stories of Native Americans. The use of telling numerous stories is a way for the speaker to make a point, that even if not every Native American family is affected by the certain problems he presents, that it is an apparent problem in Native American communities and that it needs to be recognized. The first set of parentheses begins with a family who is largely affected by death. Although the sentence begins with "this Indian girl," by the end of the sentence 2 brothers are mentioned, as is the death of one of those brothers. This sister writes that her brother tried to hang himself with a belt just 2 weeks after her other brother did hang himself. This reference to death hints that their family is broken. By only looking at this, it is unclear why this is the case, but the latter lines of the poem give us insight into other Native American families and perhaps into this first family mentioned as well. Many words are mentioned in the next 7 lines that hint towards answering this question, including raped, homeless, six-pack, and horny. At first glance, six-pack and horny do not hold a particularly negative concept, but after reading the whole poem, it becomes clear they are linked to alcoholism and prostitution. Rape, homelessness, alcoholism, and prostitution all hold the possibility of being the reason why the first family is so consumed with the idea of death. Death seems to be a response and perhaps a way to escape these tragic problems. While death seems to be the answer for some people who are struck by tragedy in the community, alcoholism is the answer for others. Alcoholism has been a part of the Native American community ever since trade between white Europeans and the natives. Tribes often knew little about alcohol, and when it was introduced in large amounts by European traders, it was often traded for Native American goods and possibly used to relax the Native Americans in order to get a better trade. This newly acquired habit held by many Indians did not end after life on reservations began, and its presence has continued on in many Indians' lives, even today, as is evident from this poem. Alexie shows this through certain examples, but the Indian woman who sold her daughter for a six-pack and a carton of cigarettes stands out for various reasons. This woman represents the alcoholism that affects many Indians today and the serious consequences it entails, which for this woman was to take desperate measures to do whatever she could to get more alcohol. The Indian woman, selling her daughter, was the measure she took to get alcohol, but this represents more than just that. It also suggests that the woman was poor, prohibiting her to buy alcohol, and that a lack of family seems to affect many communities. The white settling in America led to alcoholism in many Native Americans, which led to this particular woman selling her daughter because of lack of money. Tragedy after tragedy built upon one another, leading to this undesirable consequence of lack of family, which in and of itself presents another tragedy. The previous example of lack of family is further emphasized by many other references to where lack of family is present, including the Indian child who cries when he sits to eat at the table because he had never known his own family to sit at the same table. The reference to lack of family values is evident, but the reason why this child's family rarely sits down to eat with one another is unclear from just looking at this sentence. Understanding this starts with looking at the rest of the poem. Alexei does not make things apparent through just one of these stories. He skillfully places these sentences in specific order, each new sentence either giving us insight into the next or enforcing what has already been stated. So by the end of the first set of parentheses, all the problems that affect Native American communities is apparent. In this case, the sentence about the woman selling her daughter was strategically placed right after the line about the boy crying at the table. After just looking at the first line, lack of family values stands out, but it is too vague to know why. Alexei mentions the woman selling her daughter next. The woman selling her daughter symbolizes lack of family because the daughter and mother will never know one another, and this is all because the mother's addiction to alcohol and cigarettes. Maybe this, alcoholism, is the same reason why the boy's family never eats together. If not, it could be other situations that were previously mentioned, such as prostitution and homelessness or poverty. The fact that these problems are known to be common among Indians is by how the speaker presents the information. Repetition of many of the same tragedies, while it can be exaggerative, is used to show the commonplace of them in Native American society.